Gunline, gunline, gunline. We got a fire mission coming down, y'all. It's your host Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast, where we have conversations like we would out in the field, in between those trails under the net, or if you were a fat boy inside the gun. So, as you can see with us, we have someone who we haven't seen in a while. It's not Hunt, unless Hunt turned albino, but no, we do have a guest here again. I don't want to say co-host because I don't want to jinx it, but we have a guest again on here who I haven't seen in quite some time because he's been taking care of a lot of things on his end. Which I'm really proud. I'm not gonna lie. I'm proud to see when you got your diploma. That was like something really awesome.
Yeah. It's like right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you hear that sultry, sexy voice, it's the man from Imperial Beach with the master plan. What's going on, Urena? How you doing, brother?
Not much, man. Yeah. I think it's been like 4 months. I think 4 or 5 months.
It's been a hot minute since you were on here. So, but yeah, man, you've been doing a lot of good things, getting ready for this new transition into life, man. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. So I got busy with focusing on retirement, dropped my retirement orders, got approved. So I'm waiting on that. Working on my LinkedIn, doing these hikes every month and just been networking, got into jujitsu to stay busy throughout the week. So I've been doing that as well. And I'm just trying to stay busy, trying to stay busy and network as well.
Awesome. That's good, man. That's definitely something you want to have done. You got your path already set for you as you get out and transition. And have you chosen a career field that you're possibly going to go into?
I'm looking at like a couple of things. And then one thing I learned this last week that kind of changed everything. So initially, I wanted to do like cyber security, computer network, something along with the degree. I also have an associate's in management. So like using that, go into project management, try to get a project management professional certification. And then I looked at ROTC instructor as well for high school.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that.
Because there's just such a big need for it, and there's only like a certain window of time for when you get out to apply and then be picked up to be one of those.
Oh, really?
And everybody I've spoken to that's doing it really enjoy it, and they've been doing it for like 15 plus years. So, and the pay, benefits, and the kind of job that you're doing is pretty rewarding. So, there's a reason why people do it, and I looked at doing that. But like I said, last week I did a job fair. I've done them before, but last week I did one where I'm actually like looking for something, and there were so many positions and jobs from like left field that I wouldn't have considered before, but they're so like the opportunities are there for like income and lifestyle and stuff. Even something as crazy as like a sanitation department and stuff, working for them in the corporate side, they pay really well. And you've got like everybody has trash, stuff. So they pay well. Border Patrol, I looked at them as well. Financial advising was something that also popped up.
So. Be the migra, huh?
Yeah, man. I don't care. I don't care. Everybody's going, where's your papers? I don't care.
Oh shit. I mean, fuck it, man. Hey, what pays the bills pays the bills. Just be happy with what you're doing at the end of the day, man. I'm telling you, after 8 years of doing office work, it was a call center environment where I started on the phones, and worked my way up to a supervisory position. Corporate America is not for me. It definitely isn't. Like that's more for those like do the recruiting and shit like that, those office type cats. Yeah, more power to y'all handle that shit, man. Me, I'm the person that like to do things with my hands, call it manual labor, I guess. I don't give a fuck, but it's just I like to see my work build up to something versus just numbers and metrics on a fucking Excel sheet. I like to have those. That's just me. We all have different goals and or different likes, I guess you could say. And one of the things that I did enjoy of my job, though, was actually working and improving and developing my associates, to prepare them for their next path, because they never had that. You know what I mean? One thing that my associates, which is funny because they were my peers at one time, and they had me on tenure there, but I kept wanting more and more and more, and I proved myself, and I ended up becoming their fucking in a leadership position to them. And
Kind of like the army.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
kind of like the army.
And the problem was though that making that separation, they didn't know how it was gonna be. And I
Yeah,
told them, I pulled all of them aside and had a conversation with each and every one of them, giving them my expectations of them and their expectations of me, and listening to them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And just at the end of the day, my favorite part was developing them. Like, they never had somebody, and I hate to say this, but the leadership that I came up under, I only had one supervisor that actually fucking gave two shits about me.
yeah,
And the rest of them were just there fucking filling in a chair and inputting my data for days off. Nobody was helping me develop except for myself and another supervisor from another team. But anyways, I say all that to get to I would still be working where I was at if I would have been happy doing what I was doing. And
yeah.
I was getting paid really well, and I took a financial hit. I did. However, I'll tell you what, peace of mind and mental health is priceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I enjoy not being stressed out about the stupidities and the redundancy of changes every fucking week that came down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the army, I could deal with it because, well, I loved working in the army. But in corporate America, que coman mierda.
What you just said is why I can't wait to get out of the
Right.
army, because that is what I see the army has become, and I'm like, I'm ready to get out.
You called this shit years ago when we first started the podcast, though. You called it, man, that the army is more metrics based than anything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's funny because I see a lot of fucking, websites or whatever talking about all like, are we green on our Med Pros? Are we green on that? Fuck all that. Are we going the range? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are we're worried, we're focusing on the wrong thing, especially now that we're in a fucking non-war army, or
Yeah.
peacetime army. So I'm happy for you though, man. It's good that you're getting your ducks in a row, bro. A lot of people, I mean, you caught it shit as a sergeant first class, and you still had time to go ahead and fucking get your shit squared away before you retired. You know what I mean? So a
Yeah.
lot of young cats out there, PV2 and above, there's no reason that you can't even private and above. There's no reason that you can't fucking sign up for some college courses and get that shit done.
Yeah. I just saw somebody, I was helping somebody out, another sergeant first class, with giving him information on a school that I went to, and told him how I went about it and stuff, and he's thinking about signing up for school.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. Just something that I encourage to everybody, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to do it. I did it out of necessity and a want to say that I could do it, um, just to kind of like prove a point, like I can
Yeah.
do it. You know.
But it's a trip, like, not getting too personal with, your past or your life or anything like that, but it's just a trip how sometimes things you get thrown into situations,
Yeah.
that make you accelerate things. And
Yeah.
hindsight being 2020, it might, with every downfall, it's all about how you get back up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're doing it the right fucking way, my man. And if you know, you know. But my man
Yeah.
Jesse over here, he's making big things happen, bro.
I'm
So
trying, man.
just make sure you invite the podcast to the yacht parties.
Uh, first class tickets, man. Don't worry, it's all there. Like everybody, I want everybody to. I don't do things for me. I do things for me just to see if I can, but I also don't do things. I don't feel like I do things for me selfishly. I like if there's room on the boat, come on in. Like
Mhm.
I didn't grow up with anything and stuff, so I don't have a need for a lot of things. So if I have a piece of something, I share it with other people.
You think that's something that now that you mentioned that, because I think that's something we share in common. Come from humble beginnings. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I'm not saying I was dirt poor or anything like that, but I didn't have everything I wanted. I had what I needed. Hindsight, again, being 2020, I had a roof over my head, food on the table, clothes on my back. I had the bare necessities to live. But now that I can afford things that I want, and if I can help, I help. You know what I mean? And I don't do it for the the kudos from other people.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can't stand when motherfuckers do things for others and then they take a fucking selfie of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just find that to be,
Disingenuous,
yeah, dude, like,
hashtag this, like you can read behind you read between the lines, basically.
yes. I'm telling you, my daughter, and I'm not saying this fucking, this
Yeah.
dispels everything we just talked about right now. But no, like my daughter tripped out. She's like, Dad, you're like two different fucking people. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because I'll give you a quick story. I was going to take her. One thing that me and my daughter do together is my oldest, Emily. I try to do like a daddy daughter thing with her where
Yeah.
we go to Wiener Schnitzels. That's like a her and me thing only. We go to Wiener Schnitzels. And when I found out they had Wiener Schnitzels out here, bro, in San Antonio, forget about it. I'm headed
I
there.
I forgot all about that place.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love me some Wiener Schnitzels. So she liked chili cheese fries,
Yeah.
so she started digging the chili cheese fries. So now we go and get chili cheese fries and a fucking root beer float. But anyway, so we're coming down and we got off the highway, bro. And there was a bum on the corner, elderly black man. Looked like he was going through some very, very hard times. Sometimes you could tell when motherfuckers are like struggling. You know what I mean? And this dude looked like he was struggling. And I looked, I only had like a few bucks on me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to Wiener Schnitzels. I got plastic. So I'll go ahead and buy him something real quick. So I went there. She had no idea what the fuck I was doing, bro. So I went there and I ordered the chili cheese fry. I ordered our food, and then I ordered an extra chili cheese fry and extra Coke.
Yeah.
And actually, no, I'm lying. I didn't order the Coke. I ordered myself a fucking Coke. Anyways, so what we do is we got the food and we're rolling by and she thinks we're going home, but then I make a U-turn because if you've never been to Texas, one thing about Texas is you make a lot of U-turns. All right,
Yeah.
especially if you're on a highway. You got access roads all over the place, and you have to make a U-turn about a mile away to come back to the same block you were just on. So, anyways, I made a U-turn going back towards Taryn Vital, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Hold on, just give me that bag." I told her, "Take your food out. Take my food out and leave that extra shit in there." She's like, "What's that?" Just leave it in there. So I got it, and we pulled up to the bum. Light turned on me, turned red, and then it started going through a cycle or whatnot. So I called the bum on over, or I don't know if that's politically correct now, the homeless person, or the habitat impaired. So I called him over, like, "Hey man, come here real quick," and I rolled my window down and I told him, like, "Here you go, bro," and then I was like, fuck, I didn't get him a drink, so I gave him my Coke, take the Coke, and he thought he was getting like, I guess like half eaten shit or anything like that. And he went and sat down, bro. And he looked in there and opened it. And when he opened it up, bro, like I swear to you, I looked at him in the mirror and he had like tears coming out of his eyes. So and I gave him those extra bucks. I had like $5 there. I gave it to him. And my daughter's like, "You're two different people." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm two different?" Like, because you're like an asshole, but you have a nice side to you, you know. Now, moral of the story is, I like doing shit like that when I can. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think that we as society should do that more often for our fellow man. And the reason I said I think that we have that in common is is it because we grew up in humble beginnings that we can be comfortable with four walls and a roof. You know what I mean? Because there was a point in time where shit we didn't even have electricity for some reason or another.
Yeah.
So could that be part of the reason that we are the way that we are versus some people who just don't give two shits?
Well,
Is it the way you're brought up, or what could it
I
be?
would say I would say it was the way I was brought up. I mean, it's not like my mom sat me down and was like, "This is how you got to be with people" or whatever. We needed things.
Mhm.
There's so much stuff that we needed. So we depended, like me personally, I depended on a lot of handouts, um, in a way, from different people.
Mhm.
Maybe I didn't ask for them, but people would give me things and say, this is for you and stuff. And it also made me appreciate working because I always thought I was a hard worker as a kid. Stuff. I helped my best friend um, doing yard work. Didn't have to. It's his yard and stuff, but I helped him out because sometimes they'd invite me over to eat and stuff, eat at their place. So I figured if I helped out with the yard and I was a hardworking good friend, like I earned the right to sit at that table.
Right.
So that was it's just it came down to like work ethic and just I needed things and people that had things helped me when I needed the things. And then now if I have something and I'm able to help somebody, I can.
You know, I think it's awesome the way you're putting it, as well as you didn't have to go and ask for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you weren't like shamed. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, for needing. You know, honestly, let's be 100%. I didn't know I was poor until I was made fun of, because I wore
Yeah.
Pro Wings, or I was wearing the same corduroy pants that my brother wore the year previous. You know what I mean? I didn't know what any of that was until I started getting made fun of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nowadays it trips me out because my kids, bro, my daughter's 13. At 13, I wanted fucking Nikes, Adidas, Reeboks. I wanted that. Couldn't
Yeah.
afford it. I was wearing motherfucking Pro Wings, had a fucking
Yeah.
Payless or coasters, from
Payless was
Payless,
the spot, man.
or ponies. You know what I mean? Or if
Yeah.
not, dude, it got to that. I remember back in the days, you used to go to this market called ABC, which changed to Giant, which then turned to Rouse. But anyways, we used to go to the market and used to buy the chinelas or the chanclas that were like the chinitos, the chinito
Yeah.
chanclas. They were like the what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
ones with
Yeah.
the rubber and shit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that was the shit. That's what people wore back then. But then you had the others that I'm not gonna stereotype, but there were others that lived off the fucking county, and somehow or another they had fucking badass Nikes, and they didn't buy their fucking clothes at El Piojito, or at the fucking. Anyways,
Yeah,
I digress.
we went to swap meet, man, and
Mm-hmm.
then Payless was a big spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I knew we didn't have money because we struggled.
Mm-hmm.
It was a constant struggle. But I didn't really consider myself poor. And not to sound like like one of those Disney movies, but I didn't need anything. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't I lived near the beach, like there's homeless people lived at the beach. I at least had a home,
Yeah.
like, so for me, like it wasn't a big deal. And I just thought it was like a Mexican thing, just to where like you got three families and shit living in one house,
Yeah.
like I thought that's just the way we
It
went.
was
I
normal.
didn't, yeah, I didn't think of it as just being poor or anything. I knew we couldn't afford going to Chili's because Chili's
Right.
was like the upscale place. If we went to McDonald's, it was like once in a blue moon. That's a treat. You want a Happy Meal? That's a treat. Like, or like I was short too, so I'd go get the free ice cream and stuff. They had these little red steps.
Yeah.
Climb up the red steps and get the free ice cream and shit. I
Bro.
was like 8 years old for 5 years, man. I get free ice cream.
you
I
know,
didn't. Yeah.
we were the family that when we used to go to the beach, like when we would go to Santa Monica Beach or El Segundo Beach out there in LA, we were the family that would take, the bread, tortillas, we would take fucking a pot, like a pan with a frijoles in there, arroz.
Yeah.
That was us, bro, and that was just, I
Normal.
look at it back and I had a good childhood overall, man, and I think it's become such a trend nowadays for people to victimize themselves or to fucking play poor me or woe is me,
Yeah.
versus thinking about how much more did you have than what you didn't have. I just think about it like that. Like I said, hindsight being 2020.
Just a lot of yeah. I have my opinions on that because I feel like a lot of people do more complaining than actually doing something about their situation and stuff. I didn't have money, but I needed money to enjoy certain things. I wanted
Right.
a bag of chips because my friends had bags of chips and stuff, and those are like 75 cents. So one time I lived by a golf course. Golfers would hit their golf balls over the fence, and I would walk out on the outside of the perimeter of the golf course collecting all these golf balls, and I would sell the golf balls back for 25 cents each to the golfers through the gate.
Nice.
And then they would just, give me change. I would end up buying chips, soda, a fucking burrito for the day. That
Mm-hmm.
was like, that's what I was doing. Like I didn't complain, but I know I needed what people had, and I was like, let me figure out a way with what I've got to get enough money to play the arcades, the X-Men
Yeah.
video games at the liquor store, buy a stick of beef jerky and stuff. And if I don't have it, I just don't have it.
Right.
It's not a loss. I'll go home. My mom's got food ready.
Exactly. Or sometimes your homies will share with you, bro. I mean, as
Yeah,
long as it's not a fucking Chico stick or a fucking sugar daddy, if you got chips, I'm gonna give you some of my
well,
Funyuns. Huh?
yeah, we all share it too, man. Yeah, you know,
I mean, it's not like lick it and pass.
you know, if I got $2 and I buy a big bag of hot Cheetos and stuff, I'll be like, hey, you know, we'll pour it on the big bowl and stuff, and
Mhm.
everybody eats from the same chips, man.
You know, it's a trip, man. Just thinking about this shit. I'm 45 years old here, and thinking about how things were growing up in the 80s, growing up in the 90s. You know, I always say I grew up in the 90s because that was my teenage years, but in reality, I grew up in the 80s. You know, and these were really fucking drastically different back then, man. Seems like it seems like it was other fucking a whole other world. You know, I was hearing somebody saying that if they were to do Back to the Future, like this year,
Huh.
they'd have to go back to 1993
Yeah.
to have the same difference from uh 1984 to 19 or 85 to 55. So I'm thinking to myself, did I view 1955? Do the new generation view 1993 like I viewed 1955? You know, like it trips me out, bro.
I think about that too because I remember it felt like in the 90s when I was a kid and I'd hear about the 70s, it felt like it was so far away, you know? It felt like because it was such a different clothing style, different music. There's such a drastic difference between the 70s and the 90s at the time. And then now it feels like it's everything between now and like the 2000s has been like a mushed blur
Yeah.
that I don't see really too much of a difference in the style and the music in the last 20 years. Maybe in the 2000s there was like some clear differences.
Yeah.
Clothes are getting tighter these days. Uh, things are blurred, you know, like it's just things are
Fluid. I
like
think the word is fluid that you're
uh,
looking for. Everything's fluid now. You know what I'm
everything's
saying?
changed.
Everything's on a fucking spectrum now. You know, there's no definition of male and female anymore. Everything's a fucking a spectrum. Like no, bitch. There's A and B. That's it, bro. That's it. But anyways, dude, it's good catching up with you, man. Usually we have really good conversations and shit like that. So I'm glad having you on here. If you guys are wondering where Hunt is, Hunt is hanging out with the fam, doing his thing, and that's cool. One thing that we have to do is when we have the time, spend it with our families. Because you never know that what can happen the next day. You know, in a fucking blink of an eye, you can be gone. And I guess this is the way I'm gonna segue into this next topic. So yesterday I found out that one of my old NCOs, he passed away in a car accident. And long story, his name is Mercer, Michael Mercer. He was a staff sergeant when he got out. He, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that no, okay, he was a great person. I'm gonna say that off top, like great guy. He would give the shirt off his back for you. All right. When he got out, he became very paranoid, for the lack of a better term. The war fucked with him. The war
Yeah.
fucked with him bad. He was there for the initial invasion, and it fucked with that thing aged him, bro. Because when I first met him, he wasn't even 21 yet, and that motherfucker like he was 30. Like he was in Mosul from the push. So, anyways, um, when he got out, he got heavy into drinking,
Yeah.
and the reason I'm bringing this up is because for a lot of my listeners, we served together in 277 out of Fort Hood, Texas, and that's the unit that we were in together. He was our NCO. He was a specialist and a special multiple and the sergeant, and I don't want there to be any kind of perception that it was driving under the influence because it was not. All right. According to what I've heard, it was him driving behind a vehicle and he tried to overpass it in a no passing lane. There was a vehicle that was coming towards him that swerved out of the way to avoid the collision as he sped up. But the car behind the one that swerved out of the way, he hit head on. So, he was pronounced dead on the scene, and 38 years old, another life lost. And the reason I bring up the drinking is because, again, many of us communicated with him after the military. We kept in contact, right? And y'all know, for those that know, he was drunk a lot. Really, he was not in a great place mentally. Okay, but that's not what led him into this car accident. So I want to dispel anything. If you have heard anything about him drunk driving or anything like that, that's not the case. It was a fucking vehicular accident. But I go back to the drinking. He did have a drinking problem, and that's probably how he ended up getting out to Oregon, because he was from North Carolina. All right, and I think he needed to get help. Therapy.
Yep.
And there's a big stigma within the community still to this date. As much as it's talked about, I think there's still a stigma of people wanting to go get help. And look, man, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those too, that I did not want to go there because I didn't want to be a statistic. You know what I mean? I wanted to work. Why do you think I fucking started working when I got out the motherfucking army? Because I didn't want to fucking be a statistic. I didn't want to like fit that mold of somebody who lives with a fucking certain mental issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it plays itself out eventually. But anyways, I eventually went and got treatment, got help. All right. And even if it's group therapy, y'all, fucking do it. Fucking do it. You may not agree with everything they say at this time, but even a drop of water on a rock eventually makes a fucking hole and it gets through. So y'all need to go find it. If you have any kind of issues, go seek help, man. Who knows if that would have maybe helped in any decisions that he made to get into where he was at. But anyways, what are your thoughts on that, man? As far as like, do you see it, being that you're still in, have you seen anyone out there in the military shaming per se for going to
No,
seek treatment, or are they what's the word I'm looking, pushing it for motherfuckers to go get help?
definitely a lot more accepted now. In fact, like if you wouldn't even think about, criticizing somebody for trying to ask for help. If they say, "Hey, I need to go to behavioral health," the way the army is now, it's like, all right, go do it. Um, I personally have been doing it I've been going to behavioral health for about 10 years and stuff. It's just normal to me. I go once a month, go talk to somebody, even if it's about nothing, even if nothing's going on, I still talk to them because it's just a thing that I'm used to. It's good to have somebody to talk to. Um, and it doesn't ever matter who I'm talking to. It's just the idea of talking to somebody. But I also, I take part in events with different people and different groups and stuff that gets me out of the house and doing things. And that's been a big help for me. It's paid a lot of dividends in my mental health, and it's what I see myself continuing doing, even after the military. So as far as the culture within the military, it's kind of like it's so normalized now than compared to 20 years ago when people might make some comments, and say, what are you gonna go see the head doctor for? You crazy or something?
Right.
Nobody
Got a
will nobody
vagina.
will ever do that. Nobody will ever criticize you for going to
I,
behavioral health.
and that's pretty cool. You do, just so everybody knows, these hikes that he does are called the Irreverent Warrior. You need to go check them out. Friend of the podcast, Frank Felice, he just did one out in, I want to say it was the one in Dallas, maybe Fort
Dallas
Worth.
Dallas was a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He was representing on the gun line out there, had the HE shirt,
Yeah.
HEPD shirt. So appreciate that. Frank Felice, you the man, baby, you the man. I
Is
got
that
to get
his
him
first
back on
one?
here. Huh? Yeah, I
Is
think that
that
was
his
the
first
first one
one?
that he went on.
Ah,
And I mean, I would love to go out there, but unfortunately, due to my probationary activities, I can't leave the county of Bear without permission. So anyway, with that being said, y'all go check out the Irreverent Warriors, man. It's a really good thing. I was supposed to go last year to the one in San Antonio, but let's just say, oh, the New Braunfels one. Let's just say there was some logistical issues. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, dude, I think that's awesome. Be staying within the community, I think helps, and being that they're accepting, I think helps. I'm gonna play devil's advocate a bit here right now, though. It's a double-edged sword, I think, as well. Porque now I think sometimes I hear people and they claim this and that and the other. I'm thinking to myself, like, you just want the money. You know what I mean? You're clogging up the system, you know? Um, and I know I already hear your counter, like, but you don't know what they've been through. You don't know
No,
what their
no,
life is.
it's not
So,
it. It's not it at all. And
and
stuff.
I mean, it's not that I'm shaming them, but if you're a faking, malingering motherfucker, then you're a piece of shit. You know who you are. If the shoe fits, wear it. If you cut yourself on your upper shoulder saying that you're trying to kill yourself, you're a piece of shit. If you were an asshole before the army and you're an asshole now, don't blame that on PTSD. You're just an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, in other words, or there's others that they claim things, bro, and it gets to me because there's many other motherfuckers out there that fucking live with these goddamn ailments and they swallow their fucking pride, and what do they end up doing? They end up killing their fucking selves because they can't get the goddamn help to get a CMP exam done because these other fucking clowns that are clogging up the fucking system are making it so that it's extended so far to be outsourced now. It's not even done by the VA. Now it's outsourced for your CMPs to fucking doctors that have absolutely nothing to do with the fucking military. You know what I mean? And that could be also, it has pros and cons. Some will probably be like, yeah, we got you, man. Or others will be like, they'll go by the letter of the fucking law in the book. So, anyways, it's starting to fucking irk me, as you can see. So, I just hate motherfuckers that fake that shit. Sorry.
That I think that we'll never see the end of something like that. We'll never see the end of people malingering, faking ailments or injuries, uh, service, uh, serving in the military, what they did in the military, people that, there's
Exaggerating.
just going to be people. Eventually, you hope that imposter syndrome kicks in for some, where like they feel like they're an imposter or they realize that they are an imposter, and maybe, they'll die on that stone and or whatever. It's just like I said before, I think we've talked about it, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't really. I can have opinions.
Yeah.
I'll have 1,000 opinions on somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, I don't think, I'm not hearing something that makes sense, but I'm not a doctor, so I'm not
You know
gonna
what? We don't have to be fucking doctors to understand what we don't have in a doctorate degree. We have an experience. You know what I'm saying? So we could be like a motherfucking a control F. If you're not hitting key words, then we know you full of shit, bro. When you start saying certain things like that don't add up, the math ain't mathing. You could tell me 2 + 2 = 5 all fucking day long, but at the end, you're fucking wrong as two boys fucking.
This
Go
is
ahead, bro.
why I stay out of it though,
Yeah.
because there was a video that was circulated a while back, and it was these junior Marines, like junior two Marines outside of the restaurant. There was the guy with the ACU uniform and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. He was wearing it dicked up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can save this for the next minute if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say that. We'll come back to it
All
because
right.
we got about 45 seconds, and I want to talk about that one
Yeah.
because those motherfuckers insert foot here. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, yeah. You guys just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and send out this link to. Well, anyways, you guys don't. I don't know why the fuck I even say this to them. You know what I mean? They don't see it.
Just a
Anyway,
transition.
I'll send you that new link in a second, bro.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back. So that took like a quick second for y'all. And we were talking about those junior Marines that were talking shit to a guy
Yeah.
that looked like he was a stolen valor candidate.
He's wearing ACUs, man, and he's trying to get a free meal and stuff, and and he's out of the military, and but they're asking him for his credentials, and he was showing a legit retiree card, like to him. And then some other guy, I think he was an NCO or something, also chimed in and shit. But he was hearing what those junior Marines are saying. And sure, was his uniform fucked up, but does it matter? Does it fucking matter? How many times did it made me realize how many times I saw like homeless guys, like Vietnam vets, that just had like a field jacket on and stuff. I didn't know what they were wearing. I just knew that they were wearing a uniform and stuff. I'm sure somebody was like, "Oh, that's still a Mel or whatever," but that's all the clothes they got
Right.
sometimes and stuff. And they got no other way to prove that that they were in the military except for this one article of clothing that they can wear however they fucking want because they're not in, and just foot in mouth basically
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's why I stay out of it because I don't know the situation behind what drives a person to be in that state in that moment and stuff. If they're faking it, and it comes to light, okay. But if they're not, and maybe there's something I don't know, and if there's a movement to like shame people publicly, we're just gonna put one lens on every single person and automatically assume that everybody's faking it. And there might be the one person that maybe can't explain themselves correctly
Right.
and have a legit issue. They just suck at explaining themselves, which is what this guy in this moment probably could have said other things to say, hey, look, I was actually in the military. Here's proof
Hmm.
XYZ. But when you're surrounded by two dudes just shouting shit at you and you're confused, or you might be confused, you're gonna say, here's this. Educate them, like, and be like, hey, this is a fucking retiree card, fucking idiots.
You know,
Get away from me.
it's funny you mentioned that because especially like the field jacket thing. Um I remember when I was younger, um my cuñado, my brother-in-law, he would always wear a Marine hat, a Marine Corps hat. Like cuz my brother Robert was a Marine and he liked the hats. My cuñado liked the hats. And then my brother Ed was a Marine. So he would ask him like, "Hey, can you guys buy me a hat?" And he would wear the Marine Corps hat. And I never looked at it like a stolen valor type deal or anything like that. And like to this date, I would not wear the ACU cap. I'm not gonna wear that. It looks like garbage. All right.
Yeah.
But if we had, let's say, if I had my old multicam one, I like that one, or even the BDU one. If I had that, I would probably wear it. But it doesn't look as good as a Marine Corps hat, which fucking little 8 points and shit. Anyways, but yeah, and not only that, I look at fucking the movie, Stand by Me. Remember, the kid with the glasses?
Yeah.
He was wearing his brother's fucking jacket, right? Or his dad?
Yeah.
He was wearing somebody's jacket. He wanted to go into the army and shit. So that was natural back then. It was normal. That's like saying that motherfuckers can't wear bomber jackets because they didn't serve on a bomber.
Yeah. They weren't like pilots or something.
Yeah, dude. So I think a motherfucker should wear whatever he wants to. I wish a motherfucker would, because the first thing I would tell him, like, go look at my license plates, bro.
Yeah.
Before you even come up, just go look at my license plate.
Yeah.
I ain't got time to argue with stupidity. You know, the dude, I think that, like you were saying earlier, I think he was probably showing his VA card because when you get out and you go to the VA, they give you like a veteran's card that you
Yeah.
use that you got to scan whenever you have appointments, and you'll see it when you get out, bro. And versus a retiree card, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
either way, it doesn't matter. Like you said, the only if somebody talks to me, or if I catch somebody that's possibly doing the stolen valor thing, I'll just ask a few things, and then from there, I'll just ignore it, bro.
Yeah.
I do it all the time on Call of Duty, bro, because I had to change my name. I changed my name on Call of Duty because I used to be Artie Boy 13 Bravo,
Yeah.
and then there were some fools that were telling me that they were military, and they didn't understand the reference of Artie Boy 13 Bravo. Some of them knew already, like, oh, okay, hey, you feel artillery, I get it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Others that were like Secret Squirrel, and one was in Group.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, I just had to change that shit too. Anyway, so by the way, make sure y'all go check out my Twitch. Y'all want to see my ass get smoked? Go check out my Twitch, bro. I'm on Call of Duty on there, and I get my ass stomped. I'm trying to improve, but I get my ass whooped, and I try to make it entertaining for y'all. So make sure y'all go check it out. Anyways, dude, circling back, talking about seeking help, mental health. I was talking to one of my homegirls. I call her my homegirl, but honestly, me and this chick hated each other. Like we fucking hated each other. She was at that time my best friend. I would consider his that was his wife, and we're talking because of this recent death that just happened, and her husband, her ex husband, he ended up ODing. He ended up dying. You know what I'm saying? And so he's one of them from the same unit that we lost due to either this, that, or the other. So, anyways, as we're talking, she's like, "Why is it that Yes, I get it that a lot of people give their all when they're in war, and they die out there in combat or they die in a war zone. But there's those that also that go there, but they don't come back the same. They left it all over there, and when they come back, and they try to reintegrate, it's it's a difficulty for them, you know. And so it brought me back to this whole thing of how do you feel about being that you're a Purple Heart recipient? How would you feel about people who are there? Well, let me ask you: are there any benefits post military for Purple Heart recipients?
Yeah, it varies by state. A lot of states you get like the plates are free, the registration's free. If you go to Florida and Texas, there's educational benefits that you or your children get and stuff. I think one state might be Florida, but I'm not too sure. Both kids go to college and stuff for
Mhm.
free. Um, and you get additional benefits. So it just varies by the state you're in. Um,
Okay.
so you'd have to somebody that has it would have to look it up.
So the reason I'm asking that is because you have room to opine on this. What I was saying was I get it. People that come back and suffer any kind of mental illnesses from out there, whether it's TBI or something like that, it's not something that gets compensated with a Purple Heart or gets represented with a Purple Heart, right?
Yeah.
However, I think that what results of it should be treated or mirror some kind of a benefit or earned benefit that a Purple Heart recipient would get. So, for example, it should be passed to their family. So, for example, if somebody ends up, off of
Yeah.
themselves due to their PTSD that they have diagnosed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it might not have affected them at that time, you know, but post military, I think that it should, warrant their recognition for the service and the trauma that they suffered. I think. I don't know. What do you think on that? I mean, is it a slippery slope or
I think we can do better uh, to keep track of individuals that maybe experience some stuff in service, in whatever service they were in. You know, if somebody experienced something traumatic, there should be a separate from the VA program. I think the VA does a lot right now,
Mhm.
and they're overwhelmed. Uh, so if we create a separate program that handles maybe under the umbrella of the VA, but it's just a separate like a separate department and stuff that handles maybe keeping track of soldiers and or other service members 5 years after they leave service, you know, just to see provide them like free behavioral health services, uh, all this stuff, kind of like a just a way to check in on them.
Right.
Um, because people are just they leave the service and then you're on your own. And if you want to go to the VA for help, you can. If you don't, then you're just kind of on your own. And because the stereotype, whether or not it's true or not, is that if you call the VA, you're pretty much going to be, sitting on hold for like hours and stuff. So because everybody's trying to get a hold of the people, everybody's trying to find the phone numbers to the one phone number that you need. You're going through a whole phone book just to find the one department, or else you
Mm-hmm.
call the operator and you spend like 2 hours trying to get to the person you're trying to get to. um, so if we can start weaning off some people off dependency on just the VA for as the one size fits all
Yeah.
thing, and go, hey, there's this other program that's supported by the Department of Defense that just handles behavioral health and stuff. I
You
think that
know,
would help things out.
I think that's a great idea. And 100% what you're saying as far as like that whole time is ridiculous. It fucking is, dude. Like I've seen videos where they were like, "Oh, this is my jam," and they play the fucking hold
Yeah.
music for the VA. And it's funny because every time I hear it, it just takes me back to when I was looking at my phone, like, "Are you fucking serious?" But it, it's it's out of hand, man. And the worst part about all that shit is too is the paperwork, bro. The fucking paperwork gets so fucking confusing. Like I don't have patience for that shit. I don't. I get stressed out. I get tired of it. Every time, like I told my shrink, like one of the things that I told her was like there's things that I withhold because I know that as soon as I say that, you're gonna ask another fucking series of questions, and as soon as I answer positive to one of those, another series of questions comes, and another series of questions because however you respond, it's like the old fucking Christmas tree on the gun where misfire. What do you do? Attempt to fire 2 times.
The
It has that. Did it fire? Yes. Did it fire? No. That's exactly what happens with these fucking questions, and it almost becomes like, okay, you're just checking the box.
yeah.
So I'm gonna talk from my own personal experience. I avoid it. I avoid it because I get tired of like, have you thought about suicide? As soon as I say yes, boom, red flag. All right. What were your ideations? What was this? What was that? Okay. How about this? How about that? How about this? Like, fuck. You know what? Never mind. Why the fuck am I going to answer the goddamn question if you're just going to ask me more motherfucking questions? You know what I mean?
There should be a
Anyway,
network. There should be a network of family, like a family network, basically, as far as like when it comes to companies. So you got your VA, you can see the VA, and get one size fits all
mm-hmm.
approach, go see them. Or you can go to uh, this hospital, which is a part of the family, part of the network and stuff. You go to this behavioral health clinic, it's part of the VA's family network. That removes the burden off, depending on one institution and stuff. If you want to go to dental, you go to the dental place that's a member of the family of the VA or whatever. Whatever it is that you need from the VA, there should be partner companies and agencies that you can approach.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad you mentioned that because it just sparked something in my head. I was talking with my dentist. I went to go to the dentist a couple of months ago, and I asked her, like, do they do anything with the military or whatnot? And she's like, I don't. She said, personally, in my office, since she went private, she doesn't do anything with the VA anymore. She said because if I did, I would have to hire somebody specifically to do the documenting and paperwork for the VA alone.
Yeah.
That's because it's a whole other beast on top of already working
Like
with people that
they
already.
make it harder for you to go see somebody else, so you have to use these institutions. Might not be what they're doing, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it just keeps you from wanting to go, bro. It really does. They can make it all state of the art all they want, but at the end of the day, sometimes it feels like you just want to fucking give me pills and get me out the fucking door.
Yeah.
And again, I get it. They're a lot of them are probably fucking, what's that word I'm looking for? Cynical, because they've seen a lot of malingering motherfuckers, get away with shit. And anyways, I wish that I just want this shit to stop. Honestly, I want this shit to stop with motherfuckers losing their lives. I get it. Accidents will happen. Accidents happen. Natural causes happen. But I've seen it on TikTok as well. Push-ups, that's not gonna do anything. You know what I'm saying? Doing 22 push-ups for 22 a day, that's not gonna do anything. Fuck that. Why don't you call 22 people on your fucking Facebook account instead? That'll make a difference. I don't know.
I get that statement, but I also would be on the side that maybe the individual doing the 22 push-ups is the one that's doing it for them stuff in their mind. They're not doing it for somebody else. They're doing it so they can not jump over the edge and stuff. Like initially, so my example,
Mm-hmm.
when I did the hikes, when I started the first hike was for me.
Mm-hmm.
and I did my 8 miles. I didn't talk to anybody. I had my buddy there that I hadn't seen in 8 years. Maybe, yeah, you probably know him, or maybe no, he was there afterwards. Haven't seen him in years. So that hike was for me.
Mhm.
I didn't talk to socialize with anybody and stuff. I was just taking the scenes in, taking where I was at in, and looking around, hearing other people's experiences, and trying to relate to what they were doing. That one was deep for me, and it really made me reflect. The following ones is where I felt like I got that out of my system. I get it. Now let me see if I can help somebody else. Let me see if I could talk to somebody else. Let me see if I could be funny for somebody else
Mhm.
and make them laugh and make them want to come back and do another hike.
Right.
And then now I've done like 20 since then.
Yeah.
But that first one, that one I really needed. That one I was in a hard spot, and I really needed to take that walk because I was in a really bad spot mentally, and it changed me. And it could have been anything. It could have been jujitsu. It could have been anything else, but I really needed that experience.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'm all about. I don't try to sell it as like, hey, come on, do it and stuff. Like I know that when I go, I'm gonna be funny or try to be funny in my own stupid way to somebody else, make them laugh, and
Mhm.
then make them want to do it again. If they
Make it
want,
memorable.
yeah, they come back, and I meet a bunch of people that will say hi to me, and I'm like, damn, I don't even. They know my name, but I don't remember them, so I feel bad. So I try to go again to the next one and try to remember their name, and then greet them and stuff. So maybe the push up starts off as somebody, they're doing it for themselves, and then it works, and then they do when the next year when they do it again, they're doing it to inspire other people to do it and
Yeah.
stuff because it might help and stuff. And maybe it's not physically helping somebody out, but maybe it's symbolically as a symbol, just like going to behavioral health. Me going the first time I needed it, first 6 times I needed it, but now every once in a while I go to show other people that, hey, it's cool to go because I'm going, you know. And I apply that to a lot of different things. I know I'm getting deep with this shit,
No, go
but
ahead, bro.
I apply that to a lot of the things that I do. It's I want to see if I can do something. Now that I can do it, I want to share it with other people and see if they're about it. If they want to do it, no, but it becomes my therapy.
Right. Right on, dude. I mean, and eventually I'll grow my balls to drop enough so I can go hit one up. Um, I know the San Antonio one's like in September-ish time frame. So, dude, if it was up to me, and I'm trying to fucking trying to get the old lady buy in on this. I'm trying to get her to fucking quit her job and just travel in the trailer and do full-time RVing, and the kids could do homeschooling in the trailer, and we just fucking travel state to state. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, there's and it's not even the hikes. There's so many other programs. I think Wounded Warrior program just did one in Houston where they flew people in,
Mm-hmm.
and and they went fishing
Right.
up the coast. All provided. You just show up, and they give you everything you need. Purple Heart recipients. There's a program out of Canada
Mm-hmm.
that will send you all the woodworking tools. They'll provide you thousands of dollars in woodworking tools and benches. You
Mm.
attend a class on how to be a woodworker and all that stuff, and you keep all that stuff for free. There's so many
Wow.
different programs that are for veterans and military and all that stuff that's available for free. They'll pay for. You just gotta show up, and there's so many things out there. So it's not just the hikes. I'm not gonna pimp the hikes out
Right.
too much, um, but I will when I can. But
Of
there's
course.
other things that are available that can provide you even more satisfaction or just the same amount that are out there all over the country, all over the world, even.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned the woodworking because I've seen a lot of veterans get into the woodworking thing. I think it boils down to kind of like what I was telling you for myself. I'm talking out of my ass because this is what I believe. All right,
Yeah.
I think it's because we like working with our hands and we like to have tangible fucking products. Then we're
Yeah.
completed, like, oh shit, I got it, it's done, it's perfect. You know what I mean? Versus seeing a fucking numbers like on the Matrix. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They get to spin this shit. They get to, like, whether it's the woodworking or it's the rounds. You know, it's just something that they put their skill to that they can concentrate on,
Yeah.
and it takes their mind, because the idle mind will always be the devil's playground, y'all. Always, and even if we did get deep on this one, I think sometimes we need to get deep on these fucking podcasts, man. Not everything's all happy, happy, joy, joy. Not everything's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to keep it light here on the gun line as much as possible, but sometimes, shit happens, y'all. And on the gun line, we have all types of conversations. One day we'll be talking about Jody fucking somebody's fucking wife.
Yeah.
Or another day we'll talk about, some sergeant who's fucking some motherfucking major. I don't fucking know. It's whatever comes out,
Yeah.
or some days we might have a conversation like what we're going to have right now. Bro, have you heard of this theory about like the earth resetting itself?
Oh, the polar things.
Well, I've heard about that one
We're,
where it shifts.
yeah, we're due
That
for a
shit.
flip.
Yeah, dude, I heard about that one. But have you heard about, I think it's called like something about the mudslide or some shit like that? Dude, I can't. I'm not gonna fucking quote it because I can't. But I've been in YouTube a lot where it kind of resets itself, and like, so for example, I was talking about it with fucking Vinay last time he was on here. He was the last podcast, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like Easter Island, and we're talking about the Sphinx, how like, that shit's buried deep. So who's to say that there's not gonna be some kind of cataclysmic fucking event that wipes out all of the fucking humanity, buries all our fucking, all our monuments and shit like that, like they never existed. We start from square one all over again, and we start ooga booga booga caveman style, and then we find a fucking statue of the Michelin Man and think that's a fucking god, and then they start praying to the Michelin Man. I saw that in a movie. I can't remember which one it was, but anyways, that's all I'm saying. Like, who's to say that shit hasn't happened, bro?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. How do you know it hasn't? So we 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 advanced our technology because somebody created fire and thought that shaping wood into homes made sense. Using electricity to power things made sense. We evolved in the direction we did because somebody sparked a match, and then that evolved. Well, what if maybe 10,000 years ago somebody didn't spark a match? Maybe they figured out how to use water to move things, and then we evolved technology. Nobody thought maybe we should use these trees to create homes. Maybe we should just grind it out. It's like the Flintstones. We just,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe the Flintstones is what happened. We used stone to progress forward and stuff.
Right.
And then when society crumbles again and we have to start over, now we've got seaweed and fucking sand dollars and I don't know, the fucking sheep fluff, and now you got to create a car out of sheep fluff and power your house with that with
Bro,
your seaweed house, like
let me ask you, how did the ancient people know that gold was something that was so valuable? Like, how did they discover gold and its value? You know what I mean? That's what I don't get. Like, motherfucking gold in this, gold in that. How did they discover that? How did they know that that was a precious metal versus just a fucking yellow rock? I
they
just makes
probably
it
just said
sparks my fucking thoughts.
they probably just thought like, oh, shiny, oh, it's shiny, yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, but how did they know its worth? Like, there was its value to trade.
Oh, they use the weights. They weigh it.
Fool, I don't think that there was.
You're
I
thinking
don't
about
think the Indians use weights and shit like that.
well,
So
yeah, they use scales. Maybe they didn't. How do you know that they used it for
you're
this?
right.
We, the
You're right.
East, the West. I don't know what civilization, but the ones that they came down and said, "Hey, this is gold. This is worth something." They probably, I don't know, man, and it probably got discovered in Europe and stuff, and already had a value.
Bro, all I know is honestly, I can't even go on TikTok now anymore because every time I go on there, all I'm hearing is black people saying that they were the originals in America. I can't do that shit no more. I'm fucking tired of it,
Uh,
bro.
uh,
Olmecs were black. They were from
one
Africa.
second.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost that time for us to get off, huh? It's almost that time for you to get out. You got that phone call to make.
Yeah, I gotta go.
That's cool. It
But
figures just when I start talking about some good stuff that I know that you can't talk about because you're still in uniform. But hey, you know what? We'll save it. We'll leave it on that one. Let us know what y'all think. Were the black people the first people here? Because according to them, they're the original Indians. So, anyways, hey man, thanks for being on here today, bro. I appreciate it. Thanks for your
yeah,
insight. And as always, whenever you want to jump on, man, hit me up. Normally I try to record like on a Sunday now, just because that's the day everybody's winding down, and then have it drop for Monday. So let me know what your schedule looks like, and we'll coordinate with Hunt as well. Anyways, just make sure y'all go ahead and hang out and give your family that extra hug, man, that extra squeeze, because you never know that in the blink of an eye your life could be gone. And make sure you only pass in the passing zones, y'all. Don't fucking do it in the no passing zones. All right, rest in peace, Mercer. You're a great dude. Um, I hope you're in peace. And to those that knew him in 277, as I find out more information, I'll go ahead and I'll push it out on the Facebook. If y'all have me on Facebook as friends, that's where you'll find it at. So, anyways, we'll end it on that note. Rounds complete. End of mission. Gunline. Oh, if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure y'all go ahead and order Steve Vinay's book, Lucid, The First Step. You could tell it was written by a 13 Bravo, but it's really it's hard to explain, but it's something that's interesting. I'll put it at that. It's very interesting. And no, it's not those hua hua books with fucking, I shot bin Laden or anything like that. It's just a story from a 13 Bravo that turns into a fucking out of this world type shit. So, any closing remarks on your end?
not just get out and go find something to do.
There you go. Go look up irreverentwarriors.com, see what hikes are around you, and go march, take pictures, and send them to onthegunline.com, onthegunline@gmail.com. I'd like to post your fucking pictures. All right, then, y'all. I'll catch y'all later. Rounds complete. End of mission. Gunline out. March order, motherfuckers. Hey, y'all. Y'all just listened to that episode with myself and Urena. And he just dropped right now. I just want to jump on here one more time and just reiterate if you're having kind of issues with the dome, man, just go find some help. All right, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. You might fucking feel a little awkward doing it because you don't know anyone in there or whatnot, but that's fine, bro. They feel the same way as you do. Everybody has to take that first step sometime, right? So definitely find yourself something to do. And yeah, rest easy, and hope everybody has a good one. All right, I gotta get out of here. It says I got 10 minutes left. What kind of shoot the shit about for 10 minutes? I really don't have anything. I'm not gonna waste y'all's time. um Anyways, do me a favor, man. Once again, I really would like to hear from y'all on the gunline@gmail.com. Send me any kind of topics you want to talk about. If you want to come down and shoot the shit with me, let me know. I record on Sundays, but I will work around your schedule. All right. Everybody's got a story to tell, bro. I'd like to hear yours. What's your story? So come on down. We'll chop it up. Veteran, fucking active duty, National Guard, reserves, Marine, Army, Air Force, whatever. Hit me up on the gunline@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from y'all. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you do me a favor and just hit that fucking like and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, just dislike and just put a comment as to why and what I could do better. All right. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for listening and chopping it up with me on the gun line. Catch y'all later.